All right, let's talk about something that is pretty much every homeowner's worst nightmare: water damage. You know that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach when you see water where it has absolutely no business being? The good news is there's a real science to fighting back, and that's what we're going to break down for you today. A playbook to get you from that moment of total crisis to being back in control.
So just picture it for a second. A pipe explodes, or a storm just unleashes on your house. Suddenly water is just spreading fast. The clock is ticking, and what you decide to do in those first few hours, well, that can literally be the difference between a problem you can handle and a complete and total disaster. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle what happens the moment water attacks. Then we'll get into something called the 48-hour threat. After that, we'll look at the professional restoration playbook, decode your insurance policy, and finish up with how you can be a proactive homeowner.
All right, Section 1, when water attacks. And we're not talking about some tiny little drip you notice over weeks. No, this is about that sudden, out-of-nowhere event that just flips your world upside down in a second. This quote really nails it. Water does not wait, and neither do we. Think about it. Water isn't polite. It doesn't just sit there. It's actively working against you, creeping into your drywall, making your floors swell up, soaking everything it can touch. Every single minute that goes by, it's getting deeper and causing more chaos. That's why being fast isn't just a good idea, it's literally everything. And the crazy thing is, it can come from anywhere. Your washing machine hose could just give up. A crazy storm could be too much for your gutters. You could even have a hidden leak behind a wall that just lets go. The point is, this stuff is almost always sudden, totally accidental, and it can happen to literally anyone. Okay, let's move on to the real scary part, the 48-hour threat. See that puddle you see on the floor? That's just the tip of the iceberg. The real danger is what's happening where you can't see it. And believe me, you are on a very, very tight clock. You've got to understand this timeline. In the very first hour, stuff like drywall and wood are already soaking up water like a sponge. But the real ticking clock is that 24 to 48-hour mark. Why? Because that's when mold spores, which are everywhere, find this wonderful new wet home and start to grow. And once that happens, you're not just fighting water anymore. Now you've got a whole other, much bigger problem on your hands. So yeah, this is the number to remember, 24 to 48 hours. If you can get the professional drying process going inside that window, you have an excellent shot at stopping mold before it even starts. But if you wait, the problem gets way, way harder and a whole lot more expensive to fix. And another thing, not all water is created equal. Professionals break it down into 3 types. You've got Category 1. That's clean water from something like a broken water supply line. Then there's Category 2, or gray water, which is a bit dirty. Think water from a washing machine. And then you have Category 3, black water. This is the bad stuff. Sewage, floodwater from outside. It's seriously contaminated and has to be handled with extreme care. Okay, enough doom and gloom about the problem, right? Let's talk about the solution. Section 3, the restoration playbook. This isn't guesswork. It's a step-by-step scientific process to take your home from a flooded mess back to being safe and dry. So how does it all work? It's basically a 3-step dance. Phase 1, get all that standing water out. And I mean like yesterday. Phase 2, and this is the most critical part, is what we call structural drying. We're talking about pulling all that trapped moisture out from deep inside your walls, your floors, everywhere. And only when science proves it's totally dry do you even think about Phase 3, which is all the repairs. And look, we're not talking about a couple of fans in a bucket here. The pros roll in with some serious tech. They use thermal imaging cameras that can literally see water hiding inside your walls. They have special meters to measure moisture content. They use huge dehumidifiers and high-speed air movers. It's like a high-tech assault on moisture. Now, this is so important. Just because something looks dry doesn't mean it is dry. Not even close. Professionals take readings with their meters every single day. That equipment doesn't leave until the meters confirm that the structure is back to a safe moisture level. It's this scientific approach that saved you from finding a massive mold problem a few weeks down the road. All right, let's get to the question that's probably on your mind. Who pays for all this? Section 4 is all about your insurance, how to figure out what's covered, and how the whole claims process works. Okay, first, you need to know 2 key words the insurance world uses: mitigation and restoration. Mitigation is the emergency stuff, stopping the leak, pulling out the water, setting up drying equipment. It's all about preventing more damage. Restoration is the rebuilding part, putting in new drywall, new floors, painting. And here's the key. Your policy requires you to mitigate the damage right away. So what's usually covered? The magic words are sudden and accidental. A pipe that bursts out of nowhere? Usually covered. But damage from a slow leak that's been dripping for months? Probably not. And rising water from outside, like a river overflowing, that's considered a flood, and you actually need a completely separate flood insurance policy for that.
And this right here is another huge reason why getting a pro is so important for your claim. They document everything. We're talking photos, moisture readings day by day, and reports that are written exactly how insurance adjusters need to see them. This kind of professional proof is what makes the difference between a smooth claim and a massive headache. Okay, for our last section, let's switch gears from panic to prevention. Now that you know how bad it can get, let's talk about what you can do to make sure you never have to deal with it in the first place.
So here's your homework. Do you know where your main water shutoff valve is? Could you turn it off in a panic? That's number one. Little things like checking the hoses on your washing machine every now and then can make a huge difference. Or just walking outside and making sure your gutters are actually sending water away from your house. These are tiny things that can prevent a catastrophe. And hey, if you ever find yourself in this situation and need to call for help, look for this. IICRC certification. Think of it as the gold standard. It means the company follows the official rulebook, their people are properly trained, and they use the same science-backed methods that insurance companies know and trust. It's your seal of approval. So we'll leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about, the speed, the science, the risk, is your home really ready for a water emergency? Seriously, do you know where that shutoff valve is? Because spending 5 minutes figuring that out today could literally save you from a world of pain tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.